Recording, sir.
The following recap is scheduled for week 6 of Jesters. Put your hands together for your host. It's the Dub!
Yeah. Okay, everybody, let's calm down. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dub is here. That's right, that's the Dub, the People's Improver, the People's Coach. And the People's Coach is here to welcome you to High School Jesters Week 6 Recap. Let's bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. It's the head of the league, King Kopy.
I don't deserve all that.
That's right. The Dub has introduced thee. Welcome, King Kopy, to another exciting Jester recap. I don't know how audio went on that. Hopefully y'all aren't deaf. I know I am listening closely for all of the good juju you have to offer our league after our week 6, our return to form. Welcome back, everybody. How was Thespian Week? You can't respond, so I'm going to pretend like you are now, just like Naive Replay. Good. Oh, congratulations. Hey, way to go. Speaking of Naive Replay, did we see a ton of renditions of that game crop up in week 6, Kopy? It seems to be one of those ones that catches on as the season progresses.
It's been funny. We would have weeks in years past before this year where a game would get played like 9 times in a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way it is this year, with the challenges and whatnot. So if we see a game, we might see it 2 or 3 times in a weekend max. So
Okay.
yeah, just a new way of how the year's going.
It's nice that everything's spaced out. You get a lot of different games, a lot of different stuff. And guys, I mean, I don't know, Kopy, statistically, I'm just going to throw this out there. It's not really the Kopy query of the day or anything, but is this the year where we're seeing the largest variety of improv games performed in a season?
Oh my God. I mean, this week alone, I had to, the videos of me and Roman and Josh, the league hosts,
Yeah.
where we introduce all the games.
Yeah.
This week, I had to go and record 7 new games. Me, Roman, and Josh, we had 3 days, 3 long, terrible days of filming all of those videos. We have hundreds of videos of games, and there are games that I told them, I was like, these games will never get played. And how wrong was I? This week in week 6, I had to go flip on the lights and do the setup and record 7 new intros. That was just
Kopy.
this week alone. So yes is the answer to your question.
You know, that's awesome. Are those 7 new recordings then new games that the league has created and brought forward?
A couple, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But like Grand Theft Auto, never thought we'd see it online, but I'll explain it when we get to it.
I saw it on Instagram. I'm going to look forward to hearing that. And by the way, I'm just going to say it on behalf of everybody else who might be listening. I'm loving the Instagram direction. It looks like we're seeing some more content of what's actually being created by the kids being put out. And that is nice to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you, Meme Team.
Meme Team putting in the hard work. And actually, guys, big round of applause to all of our staff, our coaches, our students. Once again, every week we should open by saying congrats on getting through another full week of content. There's a lot of hours of improv on YouTube now because of Kopy and because of the staff and because of you guys and because of the coaches. And, we're a big, fat, happy family putting all this together. And now it's time to make you all feel a little less comfortable about yourselves while we recap your games.
Before we even recap, I'll even say today, I'd like to, and I think I'm going to try and leave it in, but I think I want to talk a lot about coaches today. Just different things from all over the league, because I think some of the things that I could contribute about the coaches is going to help some of the students. It's going to help just understand, digest, and it's going to help a lot of things that we talk about. So we're definitely going to talk about coaches today too. So I'm glad you said that. And here,
great. I love being on the hot spot.
The elephant in the room, because what happened in these 2 weeks of having the bye was the superintendent doing the rollout of the
I wasn't sure if you want to talk about that or not. So what do we got?
I feel like I have to, because I mean, my phone blew up that day. And it kind of has been since. So just know, for everyone in the league, yes, I am working to make it happen. I kind of don't like the idea at all of finishing the season online. I think you all deserve a chance to be in person. So I'm
Yes.
going to do everything in
Yes.
my
Yes.
Kopy power to make it happen. But obviously there are guidelines, and we're going to follow every one of them. I'm not a rule breaker, but I am persistent. So
Unless it's improv. You break some improv rules, don't you, Kopy?
oh, improv, yeah, that's different. So yeah, I'm working on it. I just don't have anything yet because obviously, I mean, heck, the school district's still trying to figure out the bus schedule. So we're
Right.
getting there.
Hey, but that's a really cool light at the end of the tunnel kind of moment. I remember it was just about a year ago where everything kind of came crashing down for, the seniors who didn't get their big moment last year.
Right.
And now to envision that we can pay it forward and get that back and let this year's seniors get back on a theater stage.
Yep.
So that a real applause and a real audience and a real, hubbubaloo can be made about what we've done. I think it's everything we want. So let's be patient with Kopy. Let's trust that Kopy will tell us what's going on. Okay? Can we not?
And with that being said, we are 2-3 weeks away from playoffs and 2-3 weeks away from spring break.
It's all happened so fast.
So it's coming. Like everything's coming. For those of you that have a bye that is still in the last 2 weeks of the season, that means you've only got one show left this season. That's it. One.
Yep.
So that's how close we are now to where we need to be. So I can safely assume that first round will definitely be online, just with the speed of how things are going. But I'm really fighting for everything else to try and see what we can do.
We can't wait to see what happens. When Kopy says he's fighting guys, usually some ground is broken. I'm just going to say that. I've known Kopy for about, far too long, 15 years of my life. I don't know. And every time Kopy says that there's something being worked on, something happens. So let's just hold our breaths and see what happens. But in the meantime, let's break down what happened this week, shall we?
Let's get the shows. Sorry, guys.
Get the shows! Hey! Sorry, Dudley Boys reference. We won't go there. Here we go. This is our first show of the week, and it is actually a Monday show. Kind of strange to open with one of those, but how about Silverado and Eldorado? It's the Autos.
Yeah, no, this is a good one to start with. This is to me the show of the week.
What?
Yeah.
That's so exciting to hear. Why and how and when?
I just, man, where do I begin? Let's start with Silverado.
Yeah, we know them. Know them.
Yeah, so Silverado all year so far this year has just been trying to be creative. They've tried to be in person for most of it. And this week, not only were they in person, they tried to go outside the box of what they were doing. So huge shout out to Seth. Seth is kind of the computer video editor, like guy who puts it together, gives me these nice packages. They film their own intros, like their Breaking Bad intro. They did a Breaking Bad Silverado intro.
Oh my goodness.
Really, like better editing than I've done on anything this year. Like so good. Just so fun and silly, and just adds to the overall ambiance of what they do.
Awesome stuff.
Two real things to point out that I think were really neat was they played a game of shift left dub. Not a game we see a lot, right?
No.
So just shift, and for those of you that don't know it, it's basically just shift left. It's Foursquare where all you do is shift, but the two people in the back of the square dub for the two people in the front of the square. So when you shift it around, the dubbers switch too.
Yeah.
They did it in a car. So every time they shifted, they Chinese fire drilled and moved seats in the car. So the back seat was always dubbing for the front seat.
This is a brave and very complex concept, kiddos.
I was all about it. I don't think they had to close the door when they got in the car because that just added to timing. Switch, open the door. But it was.
Was there a moment when one of them went, "You didn't close the door"?
No.
Okay, that would be awesome.
There was a moment where Parker magically showed up with a beverage he didn't have before the fire drill, and And I don't like Parker. You have to know that every time you speak, I laugh. Like, just I want you to know that. Just it's so you have just this way about you, and this drink out of nowhere. I was like, what is up with this?
Was it a Capri Sun with a straw?
No, I don't know. It was a cup. It was whatever,
I know,
wherever
sure.
they, yeah. And then they tried tag out, but they tried tag out going for a walk. So
Oh, wow.
what that meant was the person with the camera, who I'm assuming is Anastasia, and I might be wrong on that, Silverado, but A, why, like, thank you, Anastasia, and B, why hasn't Anastasia been in the show yet? But I think Anastasia was walking backwards with the camera. Thanks, Warren. Like, I mean it, Silverado.
Shots fired, Anastasia.
Well, yeah, whatever the reason is. So she was
As soon
walking.
as CCSD gets the busing schedule done, it's gonna roll right over Anastasia. Just letting you know.
So whoever was filming was walking backwards, and they were just playing the game walking forward. That's it.
That's so
So
cool.
so the 5-minute game, you watch the surroundings change, and it's not that it made the game better. It just changed scenery and added perspective. That's it. So something just very simple, it just, I totally applaud it. I love trying things. So yeah, Silverado, awesome. And then not on top of just the creativity of what they were doing, they did good work. This was their best week of the season so far.
Good.
And then flip it over on the other side with
Yeah, talk about it.
Eldorado.
El Dorado, who have been coming up week after week, I feel
Yep.
like.
Also best week of the season for them.
Awesome.
Just solid work, like really solid work. I'm gonna pat Eva on the back for bringing Newlywed Game out.
Eva.
This is the first time the Newlywed Game has been played by a team, by a Jesters team before.
Awesome.
And that game's my baby. Like, I created that one. That's one that I've always loved. Never thought it would make it into Jesters, and they just had fun with it. Their characters were cracking me up. Christopher and Mary Poppins, they had me going. Harley's Mr. Crab was so ridiculous.
Arr.
I hate it when Bob, just a solid textbook way of playing
Yeah.
it.
This is definitely the year that I hated when Bob has come up more often than any other Jesters year. Great to see that, a return to that one.
As it should.
Yeah, it's a goofy, fun game.
Harley as the voice of the Penny, and Ronnie reacting to the Penny and Little voice. Just a really good duo there on that scene. So just solid work all the way around by them. Yeah, show of the week.
Hey, Ronnie, I remember last week we said, Ronnie, come on out and take the reins and make this your crew. And did we see a little bit of that this week?
Yeah, but not anything that's outside of his capabilities. Like, he's just capable of doing just about everything. I would give a little bit of the nudge to Harley this week. I would say that there was a little bit extra there, even just the Penny. Like, that's what I've been wanting to see from Harley for a long time. Being the voice and little voice of the Penny. So
sure.
Yeah, Ronnie was Bob. Ronnie was Bob.
Good.
And
Good.
Just like I said, just textbook work. The whole show. So
yeah. Two of the funniest kids in our league, Ronnie and Nick. Nick got another show, I'm assuming.
Yep, he was on this one.
So guys, go back and watch that if you want those belly laughs. I mean, clearly we just spent about 10 minutes talking about it. These two schools deserve this spotlight. Go get your pairs of eyes upon those screens and watch them. Let's pick another game in the meantime, though, and see how much love we can rain upon them. This is, Arbor View and West Tech.
Yep, which I've got it. Here we go. Sorry, I've got notes laid out.
Yeah, and guys, you asked for it. You said it last time. You guys are watching this. We had a little meeting over the course of the off week where everybody got together in the league, and Kopy just shared with me how much he was blown away. You guys talk about the recap. So we're here to give you that feedback, and Kopy's got a whole itinerary for it. So what'd you think of this one?
This one was actually the closest score from the judging score of the week. Really well executed all the way around. Arborview played a game of backwards scene where at one point all 4 students were in, and one of them was peanut butter, one of them was jelly, one of them was ketchup, and one of them was mustard.
Nice.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but everyone in the improv world knows that just sounds like there was some magic in that scene.
Right. If you can connect it, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, and at that point, I was just like, I'm really watching this right now. Like, I'm really watching this scene.
It's a condiment commandment. Composium, conglomerate. Oh goodness, and it sounds fun.
Yep. CJ, your comfort's coming along. Clearly, you're just having fun, man, and I'm happy about that. You're another senior, first year senior, that's here for us and along for the ride. Have fun, man, as we close this year out, because you are. I got to see. I know I put them on the props in that week where I was teaming up props, but
yeah,
I got to see Allison and Audrey do the commentating for slow mo.
Oh, cool.
And right away, when that was the choice, I went, ooh. And then they probably could have, like, the match never had to start. Like, just watching them team up together and do that was just like, wow. Like, that chemistry is real. Like, real chemistry. And then the other side for West Tech. Now, here's where I'm going to start talking a little bit about coaches. Like, Song as a coach, it's very clear that her teams are trained. Like, it's very clear that she's got a way of and things that she wants them to do, to where I see it paralleled in her teams.
Okay.
So, and I mean, very clear in this one too. So this week, she coaches 3 schools. 2 of them played one of the same games and almost identical. Like, I could have put the 2 games back to back. And the only reason that they're identical is coaching.
Right.
Is having a coach who says, this is what I expect and what I need and what I want. So really neat. Now, in this particular show, Song's training really stood out to me. They also played a game of continuation, which we saw twice this week and the first time this season. So we saw a game of continuation, and as I'm watching it, I know that what's happening is because this is what Song said. This is what the coach said.
Sure.
So I want to talk more about coaching stuff and thoughts as we go along today, just so we really get some thoughts going. Why it's good, how unique it is. In all honesty, I want to even talk about the struggles this year, and the struggles coaches have, because we're all just kind of in a new boat too. So really cool. I got to see a lot of Song in this, but on the other side of even just the performers, Bella's definitely improving for West Tech. Maya got in her first show this year. Maya, I was happy to see energy. I was happy to see you kind of have this sweet way about you when you perform. And I remember that even going back to last year. And that's such a good vibe to have in a show. Like, we need and want that so much. So I was really happy to see you in that spot. Charlie, you're getting more confident. Like, it's just another good show, closest score of the week.
Man, yeah, we did start off with 2 hot ones, and I appreciate the fact that we got another new student into their first game in week 6. This is great to hear, and we'll see if that trend continues as we advance. And so now that we all know Song is a bit of a drill sergeant and has certain archetypes to the performances that she expects to see play out, we will have to learn how to exploit that. All right, next, how about Clark and Northwest CTA? Team Love versus a stalwart of our league who still holds quite a few very capable performers, right? So what were they up to this week, sir?
So Clark's best show of the year so far, for sure.
Oh man, I'm thrilled to hear that.
Yeah, it's and those 4 really are just having fun, and I think it's officially time to take the shy sticker off of Litzy. Litzy, you can't get away with it anymore. Like listening, I think you got clipped on Instagram this week because of just a very good, simple, fun idea you had where you're laughing at yourself before the words even came out, because you know what's coming out is good. And even how you say it. It was Game-O-Matic, I think. And Coach Jarrell says, hey, so what game do you got? And she says, oh, I've got a good one. And just something simple like that. So yeah, let's see, that sticker goes away. There's no more shyness. You're good at this.
Yeah. As soon as you can manipulate the emotions of the people who are watching, where you're like, I'm going to say this to sweeten this pot. I'm going to do a little bit of this to like paintbrush and get you ready for the reveal, right? It's like a magic trick. You're like, da, 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 boom.
Yep.
As soon as you do that, you're not shy anymore. So welcome. You're a showgirl now.
Yep.
Or show
And
person, whichever you prefer.
Litzy and Marlene did a game of pillars, just the two of them, and Nahom and Mallow did the pillars. And I mean, right from the start, just they checked a lot of scene work boxes, making sure that there was connections and characters and development and story arcs. And it's like, man, we're doing good stuff, and they're laughing. I mean, yeah, they just had a good show all the way around. And I'm not even talking about how wild Nahom is or Mallow's commitment. Like I haven't even gotten there yet. So yeah, just best show so far this year.
So I practiced a little bit with Clark last week and got my eyes on him to see what they were working on. And I gotta say, Mallow is an amazing gift to that team. Just doing a lot of really fun, intelligent stuff. And the creativity and the wherewithal of this team, I should say, to accept what Mallow's doing and follow it and add on to it. I mean, that's literally something that you gotta love to see is students accept one another and build upon new layers, new layers, new layers. So Mallow, I just love what you did with Clark. I'm sure you had a great week. Great job.
For
Great,
sure.
great to see.
Flip it over to Northwest. I know I've made this. I'm pretty sure I've made this comment already about Brandon at Northwest. This is Brandon's first year too. I wish I could duplicate Brandon. I wish I could have 100 Brandons in the league.
Right, his enthusiasm's there, right?
Yeah, just really having fun. I made the comment to him and Nahom off camera for their coin toss that I can't wait to see those two in particular on a live stage.
Sure.
Like I'm really excited that they get to experience that one day, and just that vibe, that energy. I'm super excited for. So Brandon too. Brandon ended up being the end of Survivor, the last one, and he's just having the time of his life up there doing that.
Yeah.
Wherever he is in his house doing it, like he's just really enjoying it. But then flip it over, and Noah's a good one to talk about on the coach side of it. Noah actually is one of the rare few that
got planted
at
back at home, right?
That he's coaching. Yes.
Yeah.
So we only have a few of those cases. Noah's one of them. But
what did you, Noah?
How Noah coaches and what Noah pushes for is very interesting. We even had a good chat this week about it. He's all about fairness. He's all about building. He's all about allowing them to just feel like they're in a safe place to get some stuff. And now he also came in on a team that had some strong veterans in there. And Erica, girl, man, you make it look easy. Just the smallest things you do. And this week, you had a scene, Erica, where I don't remember which game it was, but there's a scene where it was just you for a moment, and you were very simple and very subtle, like things that I remember talking to freshman and sophomore Erica about, where I was hoping you could get to, and you just did it so smoothly.
Comfort. Yeah.
Yep, just that comfort, so smooth. Yep. And then Isaiah was in the show, and Isaiah is like, I think if Isaiah was fantasy draft, like improv draft, Isaiah's the soldier everyone wants on their team. And could not disagree more this week. Isaiah, every single week, man, you're putting in the work, you're putting out good work, you're doing it every week. So
you just gave me this crazy fun idea. What if we did a fantasy draft one time of all the kids in the league? And we just got like all the knowledgeable coaches together. We like pick teams and we're like, these are our squads. Fantasy league for jesters. Tell me that wouldn't be boss. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it'd be fun, but a lot of work.
Yeah, well, somebody would need to commission that. I think I know a Pete Jeffries or something who might want to do that. Let me just say this, though. When it comes to great improv, Erica and Northwest are no fish out of water. Get it? Because
Yep.
Erica's last name is Fish. Did you get it, Kobe?
I got it. I
Okay.
knew that, but I'm glad
Yeah.
you told the viewers at home.
Oh, my bad. Well, it's spelled differently than you think. Anyway, is that all we got for those two?
Yep, we're good.
Cool. I'm gonna advance this on, if you don't mind, to Centennial and Shadow Ridge.
Yep, somewhere. There we are.
Yes, somewhere within this valley are those two schools, and they will play some improv, and it will be
All
phenomenal.
right. So on the Centennial side of the world,
World indeed.
Jasmine got captain this week for Centennial, and I actually did the coin toss for, and actually in both teams' cases, I did the coin toss for Jasmine and Shadow
Okay.
Ridge before I watched
What their product
scored
was,
the
yeah.
show,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So this was Jasmine's first coin toss. Haven't had a ton of exposure to Jasmine yet. She has been in a show, wasn't her first show, but then I watched the show and I went, oh, I get it. There's poise. There's 2 feet to stand on.
Yeah.
So I get Jasmine in that spot. And Jasmine, I think you're going to be just fine. Keep doing that. I'm going to encourage you to get out of your chair, but keep doing what you're doing because you're only going to get better. And you've got teammates around you that just elude so many things. So Isaac, you are such a feel-good performer. Just that smile, just, oh my God, it changes everything about our moods. That goes back to last year, Isaac.
Mhm.
You were always just wanting. I wanted you in shows last year. It just didn't happen. Thank goodness you're fully on board this year. Keep doing that, Brian. You've definitely matured, which made your improv better. So freshman Brian was just fun and ready to go. Now sophomore Brian was like, "Hey, I'm good at this," and now junior Brian's like, "We got this.
Right.
We can do this."
So senior is probably going to be wanting to make everybody else around him better if you're growing the way that we ideally would hope. So
Right.
if you can start focusing over from we got this to I'm going to help you get that, especially for the younger kids, that's what creates cultures. So be that driver, Brian. Keep going. Sorry.
You saw me wave a flag last week to acknowledge a strong performer, and so I'm going to start officially waving the Kaylee flag from Centennial. I know I've talked about Kaylee kind of
Okay.
filling Mackenzie's shoes,
Right. Yeah.
but I feel like she's got her own shoes on, and
Good.
Kaylee can really do some amazing stuff.
Talk
So,
about a sneakered pick.
yep. Yeah, watch out for Kaylee, everyone. Kaylee's this isn't gonna be the last time we talk about Kaylee.
Cool.
Flip over to Shadow Ridge. We got some more new faces in this week. This first
No
time
way.
first time we got to see Tori. Tori, where have you been? You're funny. I want to see more of you. Immediately, like the first 2 sentences out of your mouth, I was like talking to the TV, like, come on, like more. So
where has this child been? Good gracious.
So super happy with Tori. Belle, you've got I'm talking about you every week.
Yeah.
It's hard not to talk about you.
The bells are ringing this year.
Yep, hard not to talk about you. I'm definitely excited to see you on a live stage with everybody. Anella, you've definitely found that comfort. I think even Coach Miley, now going back to coaches, Miley, if you want to talk about
so great.
Someone who's got structure, Miley is structured. Coach Miley is structured. And at one point during their recording this week, it didn't make it into the recordings, but at the start of the game, Miley says, Anella, you're starting this game because I like to push you into things. Okay, ready. That's paying off. Anella, you're just keep doing it. I'm loving it.
Love it.
And then welcome back, Iva. We got Iva in the second show.
Oh, good.
And coaches are texting me as we speak.
Are you still talking trash about our children?
No.
Singing praises all day, all night.
Iva, you've got a natural little way about you. Like, I'm happy that you're finding improv first. I think you have a huge theater background. Like I know about your theater background, but I don't think that that's been on the performing side. I think that's just the knowledge side. So you have a little natural way about you in improv that I think is only going to get better. So getting up on stage and on your feet, that kind of thing, like it's just going to, like, man, I'm really looking forward to what you turn into. So I see you. I see what you're doing.
Salabona.
Yeah, another good one between these two. Close one as well.
You've heard it here first, folks. If you haven't seen Shadow Ridge do improv, then you need to take a tour. Maybe take a tour of their improv. You get it? You get what because the person's name is Tori. You know, help. All right, next it's East Tech LVA.
All right.
These are two teams that historically like to battle it out for the East Coast crown year after year. These are two teams with some history and some chutzpah and some talent, some drive, and some great coaches in Cameron and Romeo. Switch it, and then I'll say respectively. So I'll say Romeo and Cameron. So tell me, what do we got?
So yeah, LVA and East Tech both have trophies in their schools.
Yes, they do.
They both have won the Jesters League championship before.
That's right.
On the East Tech side of the world, I think I can pinpoint something about all four of this week's performers. Paula, this was definitely your best week. I don't know whose decision it was to make you do interpretive dance in 4 chairs. That was absolutely the right decision, and I can only imagine that it was Romeo's decision as your coach. That just read volumes, because I'm sure that every practice or every time you were together, Romeo's like, "Hey, Paula, can you move your arms?" Or like, I'm sure there's something that's pushing you there, and maybe that's what it was. But you had power this week, you had strength this week. Paula, this was your best week. Like, I loved it. You started a game in the car. You were driving in your car, and clearly you were almost home because you didn't finish the game in your car, but you had the confidence to do it that way.
That's just gravy.
And I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Like, I understand we've got things to do and places to go, but right now with doing it online, we could literally do this anywhere. I suggested to a performer this week, they were going on vacation or something with their family. They were leaving town on a plane, and I said, "Okay, well, you got Wi-Fi on the plane."
Dude, improv at 36,000 feet. Yes.
And I was like, I will create a game for you if you are willing to do it. So
it's called Airplane Laboratory. Enjoy.
Yeah, like, we really have so many options, and some of that stuff I'm actually going to miss when we're back in person, because there are some really cool things that we've been able to discover that we probably never would have been able to think of. So yeah, Paula, awesome week. Jose, man, I love your creativity. You have such a trial and error way about what you're doing, and that truly speaks to who I am. I am such a trial and error person. There's so many people smarter than me. It's ridiculous. Kit, your aura is everything I want on a team. Showed again this week. Your song in 4 chairs, your energy in Emotional Party. Kylan, I love your perspective. It's just carrying over from last year. So that's just East Tech.
Sounds great.
Yep. On the LVA side of it, yes, totally on Cameron. Man, there were some good suggestions they got, and maybe I'm assuming that's coming from Romeo, as the coaches have to change. But the execution of those suggestions, those 4, Caroline, Ella, Talia, Gaia, they're like, they must be friends. Like, there's no way that they're that comfortable with each other and not actually friends. And if you're not friends, I promise you could probably be best friends.
Just go be friends.
Go be friends. Like, it's there. Your personalities really shine. Caroline, I'm going to be as direct as humanly possible. You are too big of a personality to ever sit in that chair ever again. I just want you to know that. Like,
stand up.
Everything about your performance deserves a stage. And just know that when we're back on the stage, I will never let you touch the chair. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to take your chair away from the seated side when we're back in person.
I pray to goodness gracious we get to see that bit of foreshadowing come to fruition.
Yeah. I just know that is just such a, like, you in particular, just, I love everything about it. You wear this hat with these ears that just move on their own. I don't know what is happening, but that's not you. You don't even think about it, do anything. Like, you're just doing your scene, and you've got this. Yeah. Anyway, but all of them. Talia, I love the risks you're taking. Ella, you've got such a fun, natural. Like, you're such a natural. Gaia, you've got such an incredible brain. Like, really, really smart. Yeah, you have like we all know it, Warren. Everyone's got a team where you have one person that can just walk in, say one thing, changes everything. That's what Gaia does.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Boy, what an interesting role to look for. And if you got one of those on your team and you're not trying to embrace how you can take what they throw you and use it in as many different fun, creative, connective ways as you can, then embrace the challenge. Those kids, the wild cards, I like to call them, because they're the ones who just say whatever and that's all it takes. You know what I mean? And you're like, man, why do you do that so easily? It's their reflex. So take their reflex and make it your crutch, because man, if you can yes and those kids through any situation, you are gonna be doing good improv. So embrace the wild cards. The moral of the story for these two is that you could do improv everywhere, folks. You could do improv in a chair, you could do improv on the stairs, you could do improv everywhere, and no one cares, because everywhere you do improv, it's okay. Did I rhyme? I don't know. I didn't notice. Did I notice, Kopy? Do you think I noticed? All right, next on the docket, it's Durango and Basic.
There.
I want to talk about two teams who can do a scene with their eyes closed, deep in sleep. REM Dreams are great scenes for these two teams. And did that continue?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, on paper, this was the one I think to watch for this week, and I don't think they disappointed. I want to talk about coaches again. I just, so Basic, no one wants more critique than Basic. Just know that. And I challenge you on that, Warren. Like, I know Del Sol wants it, but Basic wants it. Cassie's one of the coaches that just texted me.
Fair. Okay.
So there's such a weird thing about Cassie. Cassie, for everyone that doesn't know Cassie, Coach Cassie, one of the coaches at Basic, Cassie is definitely family, like definitely family to me. Really, I'm close with Cassie, and Cassie has a way of calling scenes that make me laugh just by the way she calls it. And it's, I don't know what it is. So players, are you ready? They all scream yes. Sure. And then Cassie will go, begin.
Okay, begin.
Yep. And then they'll go through and they'll do their scenes, and all you'll hear at the end is,
I'm gonna call scene. Yeah. All right, scene.
And sometimes they have to stop each other, because who can hear that? So when I'm editing these videos, and there's the audio levels, and sometimes you can see who's louder. Lily's always off the charts on the audio levels. And then there's the tiniest bump in the world, the smallest audio level.
See.
But they're so used to it. Like how Basic, that would drive me nuts. Like, I mean this in the most respectful way. Here's your critique. Get Cassie to yell, players, are you ready? Begin. Get Cassie to yell, call, and yell scene. It's just going to add energy. It's going to add texture. It's just going to make you feel stronger. So, Cassie, I love you, but that is my Basic critique this week.
Are these all seniors, man? Maya, Evan, Jacob, Lily?
No, Evan's a junior, believe it or not, and Maya's a junior.
Okay, well, I mean, you guys have enough experience at this point. Switch it on its head, guys. Go out strong with the rest of the year and outcoach your coach. It's time to drill Sergeant Cassie into some dominant vocal tonnage.
But I can't just pick on Cassie. Like
no, it's true.
And Cassie knows that I'm doing this.
It's all in good fun.
It's all. See, Uh, so Evan, the critique I gave you, Evan's one of the ones that has been coming to me asking for help, kind of thing. Watching you in Dating Game was exactly what I wanted to see. Just your cleverness, your smoothness. In Dating Game, a lot of times we fall into that trap of the person asking the questions that just doesn't have a character or a motivation. They're just simply asking questions, not what Evan did. So that's exactly what we want. You
Yep.
made us care before the game started. Jacob, I
Oh.
think this was your show. Like Jacob, everything you did was just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, from top to bottom, each scene, you just had such command in all of your spots. So Maya,
I get excited when Basic does improv. I think they're cool. I think they're coached well. I think they do smart decisions. I think they've got different dynamics. I have a lot of experience with them versus some of the other schools, which is probably why I get to say they're awesome. But I do say that I love watching Basic do improv, and kudos to that program.
at the end of every single game, I'm telling you, every single game, immediately when scene happens,
Yeah.
someone makes an immediate comment on how they could have done the scene better. Man, I could have done that. Or someone always makes an immediate comment.
These are smart kids who are aware of what they're doing, who've learned enough, who can self-dissect themselves, and the chemistry's so there. And it's just so great.
Let me give one baby critique. Maya, if there's a way you can play with your camera depth, I think it's going to open you up too. And I won't spend a ton of time on that because we actually talked a lot about camera depth.
Sure.
So Maya, maybe talk to me or just ask your team, but your camera depth, I think, can help you. Jacob's really good at camera depth. Evan's really good. Lily, you're actually doing really good too. Just a little switching around. That was a note you took earlier this year. So Lily, just keep doing that. So yeah, Maya, just a thought.
And I've noticed that with some kids, and I've seen Maya perform this year, so I get to speak on this a tad. I've noticed that with some kids that like their envision of the stage involves them taking center stage in a different visual than many of us. Like some of us are, when we say we're center stage on here, we've got our faces right up to the camera. But Maya and several of the students I'm familiar with like to step back and be basically in the middle of whatever room they're in, and they have the full range of the stage. So if they want to move, it's literally a full screen process. And it's interesting to watch how those kids visualize what stage picture is in this world. And I like to think that the ones, and I know this is the case with Maya, but I like to think that the ones who are standing back and getting such a full range of view to the audience are the students who understand that there's a world being built with every scene.
Right.
And they know it in a classical way on stage, and they're familiar with it in a classical version. And the kids who are moving their cameras and like changing their depth more are the ones who understand how fluid that is in this environment, right? It's that simple. So honestly, kudos to the kids who understand that there's a full picture here. Just now let's embrace the fact that it's at our fingertips. That's kind of the cool part, right? It's really our role to give the audience their perspective. How cool is that? And really, improv is always that way when it comes to characters and storytelling, but with the visuals, it's never been that way except this year. So let that break your brain a bit and see what it does.
Well, then flip over to the other side with Durango.
Hoops.
One of my challenges to Durango this week was instant soap opera.
Yeah.
Because instant soap opera is one of the few games that's on that master list on the website that doesn't have a link to it, like an example link. And it's mainly because the few times it's been played in the league just hasn't been like overly amazing. I want to try and get at least a decent example out there. So I think this is the best example that I've seen of it so far. Is what Durango did.
Cool.
And they're just such natural hams anyway. Like they fully went for it.
Oh, it's such a fun game.
Yep, it is. It's totally a fun game. So I know
Such
the
a fun
potential is
game.
there, but as a league as a whole, I know that the league has struggled with that particular game.
Sure.
So I wanted to see if Durango could do it because it
Sure.
seems like they can do most things.
Yep.
So yeah, I thought it was a really good example. They played a new game, hasn't been played before, Exit Stage Left. I think they changed the rules of it as they went along because that's what they do.
Right.
Yeah, more good. Their dating game, just yeah, the visual of their dating game, like they had that unlocked. Like just the visual makes you go, oh, I want to watch this for a second. So
Wow, cool.
yeah,
This is good praise.
yep,
You know, you talk about a program that's gelled almost from the beginning. The sheer amount of different risks that those kids take together that are then picked up and appreciated and integrated by other students around them is indicative of the power of strong performers, but even better teammates who can learn and watch and like I said, integrate. I mean, kudos to Durango for the way they've gelled and for all the different ways their games have been role models. Like I showed my Del Sol kids their version of Dime Store Novel, if I'm not mistaken, was the one where Maya was like on her haunches on the bed and then
yep,
she like whisked away, right? And
yep.
then the whale shook and like, guys, all these crazy things that are hard to describe in your imagination, these kids are acting out seamlessly. So moral of the story with these two schools especially, and maybe a lot of these matchups this week, guys, just go watch the Improv because man, the quality is really there. And kudos to Durango for continuing to uphold the ideals of excellent improv we've seen from them all year.
This might be a good transition for the coaches talk. I know with Coach
Yeah,
Karina, this is her 4th year coaching them now,
so cool to
um,
have her after these 4 years.
right? Which is so weird to say that she's been coaching 4 years now, but right?
So
Uh,
old, so
uh,
old.
so she's been coaching these 4 years now, and I mean, she's flat out said to me a couple of times, like, I don't know what else to teach them. Like, they are just so good.
Yeah,
Which is such a humble, like, you guys got to know that we are there to teach you. We do have ideas and thoughts, and we've got a process. And trust me, we are thinking of it from a different perspective than you are. But
right.
man, just sometimes, like, it's not that easy. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's a testament to the team, but that's also telling you that we also struggle with stuff. So
Yo, yeah, and as coaches, I'll tell you what, man, we can all learn, and we all do learn. I have been doing this for 5 years, more, seven?
more,
I
more.
can't remember. Seven,
This is
seven, I
7 for
think.
you.
So, and every year I tell Kopy at one point or another, hey man, I think I'm finally starting to understand blank. I think I'm finally starting to add this layer to my critique or my understanding. And it's crazy because I think Kopy will be the first to tell you I probably overanalyze improv more than most of my peers. You know, and we don't have many peers for you to claim are not true. So you'll just have to
Right.
swallow that, Kopy. And I'll tell you what, man, it's just so cool whenever the kids teach me something. And sometimes it's just so fun to watch them carry the reins and then I go, what did I learn from that today?
Yeah.
And so kudos to Karina for having that humility. That's a big deal. I hope the coaches out there who go, hey, I'll never not have something to teach my kids, hear that and realize that, you know, improv is life and sometimes in life we learn from each other despite experience level differentiations. So cool thing. That's a cool thing.
And the easiest comparable situation is just think of any boss at any job. They might be the boss because they understand the procedures of the company.
Yo,
But as a coach in improv, we're teaching social skills.
yeah,
We're teaching personalities. That's what we're working on. We're
right,
not working on the files go over here and that's the procedure.
right.
So it's just there's some difficulty, and this year is obviously given its hurdles. Coach Warren and Karina, who've been in the league now for a number of years, like we all had to learn a lot more this year. So we did it all together. So yeah, coaching this week just stood out so much. Yeah, I had to talk about it. I could probably talk about all the coaches, but the kids
Yeah.
aren't sure about
And we
that.
will eventually. I mean, I know we've already been doing this for an hour. We teach the etiquette of imagination, kiddos. Isn't that weird to think about? But that's truly what it is. The etiquette of imagination and the integration of others' imaginations. So come and coach if you feel like you've got an active imagination. Once you graduate, come talk to us. How about this? Desert Pines and Valley.
Got it.
I would
Okay.
hope so.
Desert Pines has been there's definitely been a few times this year to where
Another
they played a game. What?
I was just gonna say another one of my favorite schools, man. I just love
Oh,
their energy and their brains.
yeah. Well, there's been a few times this year I've come in here and I went, man, they changed how to play this game, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
And here we go again. So
cool.
they've got a three-headed giant. So so Jalen and Sarah and Karen are a three-headed giant. I forget what the Greek mythology name for that is.
Loch Ness, Hydra,
I don't remember.
Cyclops,
But they have it, and they're all
Barbara
capable.
Streisand.
They're all capable of just really awesome work. And so this week's phone booth, it definitely had a different way of doing it. And even Coach Alex asked me, "Hey, what'd you think?" And I really did like it. They had such a fluid way of transitioning conversations. Maybe the structure around the game wasn't the way maybe your coaches taught you, but it worked. And there's plenty of ways to say it worked and things to laugh at. And that's what I love. That's what I love about what they're doing. Naive replay. So Sarah set it up with a really strong setup, really patient,
Good,
really just less is more type of approach. And then I'm pretty sure Karen came in second, but Karen did not choose to start in the scene second.
Okay.
Right. So Sarah started the scene alone again in the second replay, and then Karen eventually jumped in and found a spot.
Right.
Those are such gutsy choices that can always pay off. Like it's really good, but the confidence to do that, it just shows what that three-headed giant can do.
Sure. Intelligent decision making.
Yeah. And then I've been talking about Brittany now for a couple of weeks, but man, Brittany, you have come so far, so fast. I'm loving what you're doing. Brittany was definitely the youngest, newest performer that ended up in that meeting last week.
Okay.
Because I mean, Brittany's only done 2 shows. Week 4, I think, was Brittany's first show.
But we got you, Brittany. We got you. You're part of the league now. You're excited.
Yeah, you're on a great team for this.
Learn.
Well, it's not even learning. She's got skills already. Like she can.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But man, if you don't learn something from these team members they've got, man, come on.
Enjoy the ride, Brittany. Like enjoy where you're at, because this is fun. And as we said at the beginning of the video an hour ago, playoffs are coming, and this season's like it's not going to be that much longer. So enjoy it. Flipping over to Valley, they keep doing good work, man.
Good.
And they keep gelling. Their backwards scene in their parallel universe this week, like.
I like Parallel Universe. I've been wanting to play that for a minute.
For sure. And just the way it ended, like Parallel Universe, they definitely played it with a bit of a slant, like not exactly the way that you think of it, Warren, like that we've talked about it, Warren.
Okay.
They definitely played with a slant where it was just kind of this wild conclusion of how they went universe to universe, but fun. Like it was just like, man, this is a way to end a scene. It's just what they're doing right here.
Cool.
So I was really enjoying that. Backwards scene from this top was just silly and really good jumps. Talk about coaching. Every time Gio makes a call in a scene, he's laughing.
Sure.
Every time. Gio truly loves this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Gio loves you guys. Gio really wants to see you guys improve. Like his heart is bleeding for you guys to get as much out of this as possible.
Yeah.
That's who he turned into as a performer when he was a performer. Yeah. And as a coach, he gets to feel that now too.
Yeah.
So it's just shining. Aiden, man, you're hot. You're in it. You are really a part of this league. Thank you for coming along and being new this year. Here's my challenge. This is a Valley challenge. My challenge is for Isabella going into next week. Okay, Isabella is their veteran.
Yep.
And probably team captain if there is a team captain.
Sure.
My challenge for Isabella next week is to be not Isabella in everything you do. I want to see different statuses. I want to see different voices. I want to see the most variety you can come up with. And Isabella, I promise you, if you can do this, you are going to shock yourself. You are going to go, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I just trust me, Isabella. You are going to blow your own mind if you take this advice. So Yeah, I'm super excited to see them keep doing what they're doing.
There was this one time when Isabella and you and I did a instant soap opera, right? And our just
Yep.
previews to start the year. And even in that moment, I was like, Isabella has the cognitive ability to keep up with a very difficult game. And that cognitive ability, therefore, also translates into being really good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Isabella, experiment with what you have in your toolkit and take some leaps maybe you've been nervous to. Maybe pull out some parts of yourself that you don't think can fit into this world. You'll be surprised if you truly commit how much you create.
Well, and part of the reason I'm making this challenge for them now is I think this is something that's going to help their whole team really just take another
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
We all have just served different roles in what we do in life. I know what my role is in this league. I'm happy. I love it. Just we all serve roles, and in this particular moment, your role as a team, Isabella, that is going to help your entire team.
Yeah.
So not just you. And like I said, you will blow your own mind.
Cool.
So. And if you need to talk more, Gio's going to call me. I know it. He's going to go, hey,
any second.
Like, let's talk about it. What do you mean by that? So yeah, let's go. Like, let's
and
do
boy,
it.
do I love Gio. What a great guy. What a great person to have coaching our league. And what a great coach for that school. There's the familiarity, but on top of that, there is just raw, unmitigated, unprecedented enthusiasm. And that energy is nothing but just the life air that all these students should want to breathe. So Valley, drink in your coach, enjoy the energy, drink in what each other are doing, and remember how much you can develop by just taking those deep, dark, secret worth of risks. Bring out those risks that you're nervous about. It's fun stuff. Let's jump into our next one, and this one is Del Sol and Green Valley. So I'm super curious what you have to say about what we did in week 6. You gave us continuation as well to play around with. And I don't know about you, but when I was watching my 8 students who tried that game, all being physically engaged with the story, finding out how to take it from piece to piece and adding layer on top of layer, I remember thinking, holy cow, am I proud. So now you can defeat my expectation. How did we do?
I mean,
whoever you want to talk to.
there was a pretty, I think there was a pretty even distribution across all of your games this week.
Yeah.
So I mean, Del Sol has been playing at such a high level all year that,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, it's hard
deserve
to nitpick some of it. But I mean, there's always things to talk about. So yeah, in
Sure.
continuation, I did enjoy it. Continuation is definitely one of the hard games. Like in my brain, doing it in person is already hard.
Yeah.
So doing it online adds its elements. So West Tech was the other team that did it. So both of you did really good jobs of structuring the entrances, which is so important of how to play that game anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, you're going to get to a point where it gets a little nutty and chaotic,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the design of the game.
Yeah.
So we're going to get there, but how you get there is important, and what you do when you get there. So there's lots of pieces. So yes, of course, you did well. My like have to talk about moment in game for you is Jeopardy.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I was hooked before the game started.
Sure.
And here's what I mean, like from Isabella hosting, because you didn't host, and Warren, just so you know, from a coaching standpoint, like no one can host better than this guy, even though he's a coach. So just
thanks for saying that.
He stepped aside as a coach to let a student host, and Isabella, wow, like I want to audition you immediately as a host. That's a whole different skill set. Just know that. But Robin and Christian, my, oh my God, my,
my, welcome, new face for us. We've seen my in games, but not in shows, so that was fun.
Speedy, like your character introductions, your buzzers before the first category was called by my, I was just blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away. There was writing on the wall, like there were like, ooh, I want to see what happens now with what has been created. So
thrilled to hear it.
Yeah, I if anyone wants to just see a really, really solid like start to Jeopardy, like go watch the start to
Okay,
this
cool.
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
To continue that, like I don't know if you do this on purpose, but it seems like Speedy and Max have this
Okay.
like, okay, I'm right. So
I have been trying to get Speedy and Max to integrate with each other a little bit because I've been working with Speedy for 3 years, solid. Max have had for like 2.5 years, and he's been like getting more and more and more and more and more committed. So
okay,
I'm like, okay, it's time to point out that I see Max as this kind of guy who does physical, silly goofiness. And Speedy has grown into this guy who feels more comfortable doing silly but realistic goofiness. He loves bringing political humor in and real life, like introspective, like capitalism is questionable kind of jokes. And those two playing with each other makes me happy because they add a ton of energy, but a lot of like, it's almost like um, Laurel and Hardy,
yeah,
or another famous duo where they're doing similar things, but they're different. I'm getting chills just talking about watching
it,
these boys grow together, but
yeah.
doing their shtick is similar, but different enough that it's just predictably funny. And I love it. I've been really enjoying watching them gel.
I know we talk about duos sometimes. I talked about it earlier with our review, and I've been talking about them for weeks now about it. Just I mean, it's obvious to see things like
Right.
we can unlock things in each other sometimes, and that's also the beauty of improv. And just sometimes certain personalities and whatnot click, and I'm just seeing that. I'm seeing that correlation. Even watching them flip back and forth in continuation from the same role,
Oh,
right? I was just like, oh my
I
god,
know,
it's like they're not leaving.
dude.
It's
But
like
when
they're
when Max pulls in and goes, "Hey, hurry! I'm the NADA NASCAR driver. We gotta go." I'm like, "Ah, yes!" And Speedy's veering off. Yeah, man, I like them.
um
Their brains get each other more than I think they understand. So yeah, they
yep,
might be a duo if they really want to be.
yep. Um
Um,
Robin, keep just oh my god. Just keep just there's nothing else to say. Like I've talked about you so much this year. Keep
yeah,
doing that. Christian, your creativity's off the map. Like, yeah, just good week for you guys.
thank you.
Um
We're glad to hear that. But Green
um
Valley, kudos to them because we got Kiana for the country hijinks. We
how,
had some scheduling mishaps, so we shared our teams a little bit with each other.
yeah.
And it was so much fun to play one more game with Kiana. So I got to hear some Green Valley love.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kiana, I absolutely loved Sally Pockets.
Yes.
I absolutely like from the
Yes.
start. We've kind of talked about it a couple of times today, just how strong that initial character is in dating
Mm-hmm.
game, where it's interesting before it starts. Like Kiana had me laughing pretty good before
Oh,
the game even started.
what a funny kid.
Yeah, and so had to love that, but um I love seeing Lily come in hijinks. We haven't seen Lily yet this year. I mean, every time I see someone new, I go, oh.
Yay!
Riley wasn't in the four this week, but I'm happy the second Riley puts her face in a camera. I mean, Isabella's abominable snowman. Oh my god. Uh Rufus, Green Valley, I think at this point, it's time to say that they are not just set up to have a good run this year, like they are now set up to keep running into next year.
Good.
There's
Yeah.
so many good things to talk about with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Rufus, I think you're really settling into you.
Yeah.
The performer side of you, because I know you've even talked to me about like you're a musician, you come from band, so the performer side of you is not there, but that's such a lie. Like you
Mm.
are really clever, you're really funny. Um, I can't wait to get you back on stage. You've got natural charisma, like for sure. So
Yo.
lots of good things to talk about here. Aaliyah, this was your best show this year. So I watched you in this. Your moment, your Ned, like funny, like definitely funny. So yeah, I was happy all the way around. And then the suggestion exchange on the coaching side. There's another show where the suggestions really caught me, and I went, man, this is funny stuff. So another good show all around.
Oh, suggestions from coaches did well, huh? Oh, I wonder who
That's
was the
right.
coach to give Green Valley suggestions, huh?
That's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. Like, just this was really, really, really a good exchange of ideas. Just the suggestions made me laugh before even the scenes got started.
Yeah, it's fun. Green Valley is one of those schools that has had such an amazing energy, and Kiana's really stepped into that. And you could just see how her comfort has blossomed. And there's just no way that the kids around her won't gravitate towards that amazing confidence that she has just allowed to spill from her. So like it's fun playing with Green Valley. It's fun watching Green Valley. And I can't wait to see how they develop in the years in the future. Really cool program. Really, really cool. And they're having a great year through it all. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Cool. How about Spring Valley, Sierra Vista? It's the SV squared show, sir.
Yeah. Let's start with Sierra Vista. Got Misha and Viv in.
Yay!
And I will always say it's a better show. It's a better day. What the two of you bring to your team is unmeasurable and uncomparable. So awesome to see you in there, Viv. I mean, that team needs your brains so much. And it's so clear every time you play.
Yeah.
So Viv, happy to see you in there. I know Viv, because but when we film this versus what's actually in film, I know that Sierra Vista's already filmed week 7. And I know Viv's in that one too. And just, I mean, that's everything we want and need. And then Misha, I know I mentioned this earlier about, I think Kaylee, but man, do you make it all look so easy.
Yeah.
You're such a natural.
Like water.
Yeah, man. And that's an accent she used in the show.
Nah, she's got it. Did she make any tortillas?
Not in this one, but
I get you a little quesadilla.
You know what the thought was going through my head watching Misha this week was whatever Misha does for a career, for a life, she's going to succeed. There's just something about the way she carries herself that I'm happy she got in the MVP category last year. I'm happy she's gotten the recognition she's gotten because I think people can learn from how smooth and how she does things.
Right.
So yeah, so great to see you too. Julian, man, I'm loving your arc. Like I'm really loving your brains going. And not to say that your closet of characters and props weren't good, because I loved that too, but you're getting comfortable just standing on your feet, not worrying about the rest of that stuff.
Right.
So that's growth. That's awesome. And then Rowan, boy, did I love watching you in with these three.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a great 4.
Yeah, sometimes it's pairings, and we've kind of talked about that a lot today, how we gel with other people. Rowan, with your growth this year, these were the 3 I wanted to see you work with, and that made me really happy. You got a suggestion, an emotional party of Sweet, and I was like, how could okay, like I get it, like I get why we give it to Rowan. So like we didn't challenge Rowan at all. Rowan had that thing unlocked. So
bam.
Yeah. Flip over to Spring Valley. Spring Valley has been of the handful of teams that have really staked their claim this year with how good they can be and what they're capable of. Coach Noah this week, you fed through this show where I just thought about you so much in what I watched this week. Even if you want to just watch, Coach Noah played machines with them, and what a ridiculous game of machines that was. And I mean that in a positive way. I'm saying
sure.
Noah was so ridiculous. Immediately when he called scene, like the amount that they razzed him for that game was pretty funny. So yes, machines was solid, but even watching you guys do the space work and the continued motions while Noah's just ranting about the things Noah's ranting about, just good work. Director, Nicole, I think you even maybe surprised yourself a little in some of the things you did with your weird director hair and what you did. Nicole, you laughed through everything you said in acronyms because you knew what you were saying was ridiculous. And M, you are what's the phrase I hear from people these days? You are just fire, like
straight fire.
Great.
You were lit.
Gordon, man, it's hard sometimes to say a 4-year player improves.
Right.
But boy, if you aren't adding some layers right when you need to, and I think that's a testament to you guys as a team. That's a testament to coaching. That's just a testament to what you guys are doing together. So really cool, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get into a whole lot of the details, but if there's a way that Nicole is watching this video, also know that I've been proud of you since the day I met you, and it's really cool to see what you do. I've been happy to know you. I've been happy to have you a part of this thing. This league exists for what you've done for it, so thank you. I'm leaving it at that. So. I hope this gets out to you somewhere.
Well, now that we're all a little damp, I don't need to reach into my equally moist hat to find the final piece of paper because I know precisely what's written on it. It's A-Tech and Burkhart, our final matchup of the week. What have you got to say to two more teams that we know are occupying some of the better improvisational spots in our league?
Yeah, so I can't believe this is the last show, and this is definitely our longest recap ever. But I think that's
Sorry.
I think that's what the kids want.
I think so too. That's why I'm not hustling.
So yeah, just tell me, kids, if it's not. Okay, so I think I have to start with Burkhart. So here's what happened. Like, this is legitimately what happened. Is Burkhart submitted their games this week? First of all, they did it in person.
Okay.
They did it together.
Good. Awesome. Fun.
Their choice, what they filmed it in a garage, at someone's garage, and they did it wearing masks.
Okay. Yes.
They the COVID masks.
Yeah, I think I saw this. I only reacted that way. I think I saw this on Instagram too. So I can't wait to hear more. I think I know what game you're going to allude to. Let's do this.
Well, yes and no. So they submitted their videos. They got together, and after getting the videos, like in the 11th hour or the 13th hour, whatever that extended hour is, the videos didn't have audio.
Oh no.
Some way, somehow, the audio never got recorded.
Whoa, that's weird.
Technical snafu, whatever it is. But in and I'm talking midnight, like Friday night, like Burkhart got together on Zoom. I took their video, played it back, and they dubbed the whole show.
No.
So
way.
All of their games are dubbed over the games they played.
Oh my God. You can't make that up.
I can't make it up.
That's so cool.
One of the people dubbing was not the original four in the show.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh man, this is a giant SNL sketch.
So even the way of thinking about how to dub and the suggestions, and it was so cool to kind of be a part of and see and think about and witness. I'd never done anything like that. I've been doing this a long time. This was really neat. Like, I really, really enjoyed being a part of. Yes, we had a technical issue, but man, was this kind of cool.
The beauty is in what comes out of it, and the way you guys put the wires together and repair whatever machine you had built, and that's cool and fun and awesome news. Honestly, remember, guys, anything is possible, including providing audio to the improvisational games that you filmed that somehow got delivered without that audio. Very cool, Cope.
Now let me throw this out on coaching. As well. So Dylan, in the conversation with Dylan, and God, do I love Dylan. Dylan is such a straightforward, no nonsense. Just, this is how I talk. Coach Dylan of Burkhart. And when I say, hey, when I'm on the phone with Dylan, like, hey man, no audio. Dylan's like, well, I'm sorry.
Welp. That happened. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, and that.
But my response is, well, that's not how this works, Dylan. We have to figure this out. I've been doing this so long. Like, I was so excited at, like, this is how my brain does things. So I made the suggestion to try this. They were all about it. So we work together to do all this stuff, man. And here I know sometimes maybe I'll talk, or Nicole made me cry a minute ago. Like, I will probably cry over all of you if given the right circumstance. So we are all here to help each other. And that was such a good example of that. And yeah, I love it. Like, it was such a cool thing to be a part of. I'll never forget it. I will talk about what happened this week with Burkhart for a long time. Warren, you're muted.
That was for that was for you, Dylan.
For me to dub.
Yeah. So perfect. Switching over to ATech, yet another song school.
Yep.
And one of our stalwarts of the league, one of the toughest, one of the thresholds for good improv. How did it continue this week?
Yeah, ATEC's been killing it. I mean, since they came in, and this week is no exception. The training thing stood out again, because this was one of the side-by-side games I talked about with Song.
Yeah.
Song has such a positive output when Song talks, when Song speaks, even when Song's giving critique, it doesn't.
Hey guys, really great scene. I love the energy. You guys were super physical. Just a few things really quick. It would be great, etc.
It's not a bad, yeah, that's not a bad impression. So, but what I take from that is, they're learning. Like, they are getting knowledge, they're getting experience, and they're getting a chance to just have nothing but positive energy. And that's so important. Like, if we surround ourselves in negative energy, like, what do you expect to happen?
Right. Oh, 100%.
Surround yourself in positive energy, what do you expect to happen? So Song has that effect on whatever she does.
Yes.
And I mean, ATEC just drank that in from the beginning.
Sure.
And that they truly shine in it. So having people like Jackie on ATEC and Jenica, and it just their personalities, it makes so much sense. The connection is so strong. It's funny to listen to Coach Song tell Jackie, stop being so sweet.
Yeah, right? The irony is stupid.
Right. So it's super funny to watch and see. Okay, so continuing on it, family dinner, man, their focus and their family dinner, it was just like they were all like tunnel vision, like, we're gonna do this right. Focus was awesome. Jessica, wow, like, you are stamping yourself, like, you are truly going, hey, I'm here to play. Can I tell you an interesting story about Jessica?
I'd love to hear one.
So, I mean, an hour and a half into this recap, maybe she'll never watch it, but
90 minutes.
Jessica she's a vet, and Jessica's a strong performer. And this year, in the leap into online stuff, Jessica was scared to make the leap. And in conversation with Song, which did come around to me, Jessica admitted that, like, she would go into the waiting room and wait to click join the meet and not want to do it because of how scared she was.
Wow.
Jessica, I'm so happy you joined the meet.
100%.
Seriously, I'm happy that all of you have, but what you're doing it's speaking volumes. Like, I'm watching it, like, you are truly a big piece of this ATEC giant. So super happy.
What's crazy about that is, after all these years of being an in-person league, we have those students who stand outside the classroom door before their first practice of improv, and they need to be dragged in, and they need to be pulled in, and they needed to be, they need to be afraid of their shadow and have that phase, and then they need to have the learning phase, and then they need to have the creating phase, and then they have the leading phase, and then before you know it, they're complete improvers, and they go, cool, that was fun, and I'm really grateful I walked through the door. Well, it's awesome to hear a story like that in this year, the digital year, where above all, everybody, some people who've done this for years are afraid to click the join meeting button. And it's awesome to have a student who was that afraid of that step like everybody else, but chose to come in and chose to light it up and chose to embrace it and chose to be what they are for the league. So congratulations, Jessica. That's really cool.
One quick little note,
Yeah.
Sean, everything you came in starting your scenes with this week was awesome. Do that. Your leprechaun, all your weird little voice, like do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff, Sean, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like every single team took a step forward this week. That was our last matchup, and it couldn't have come a moment too soon. I literally had food that was fresh when I got here, guys, and it's not fresh anymore.
Actually, me too.
Yeah, we have foregone our dinners so that you all could hear this feedback. And truly, I promise you, it's not us looking for attention. It's not me just trying to say, hey, say thanks. We love doing this and talking improv so that the schools like you guys, all of you guys, could feel valued and appreciated and seen. That's not easy in this digital age and certainly this pandemic age. So it's a blessing to get to break it down for all y'all. What a cool recap. Let's move on to our next segment, Kopy, and it's our props segment. Every single week, we're seeing more and more students get comfortable with their props and their costumes and their different ways of adding an extra layer to a scene. I mean, we had an equality fan this week over at Del Sol, for example. It was really cool to see that flashed on screen. We're all equals in this improv world. But the props that we're talking about right now are the props that Kopy gives out. These are the special kudos to the schools, the teams, the individuals, the scenes, the scenarios that make improv just a little bit more enjoyable to watch this week. Kopy gives out 3 of them. And Kopy, what are those 3 props?
I'm going to start with Brittany from Desert Pines.
Cool. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, new students come to the league every year, all the time, and some make a splash, some are scared. Everyone tells a different story, and you are immediately telling your story. I mean, you did not waste any time whatsoever. Don't change a thing. Keep fueling your fire. So props for sure goes to Brittany. I'm excited for your future for sure.
Dope.
Prop number 2, I'm going to give it to Paula from East Tech. Paula, man, I talked about it in your recap. Like I said, about as much as I could say there. You are capable of great things. So I'm happy to see your growth. I'm happy to see your boom this week. But now the bar is set. So keep that there. Keep doing what you're doing, Paula. So
get it. And you deserve it.
Yep.
And
prop number 2, and then prop number 3, my last prop. It's time to put him into this props, but Isaiah from Northwest. Just that good soldier, man. It's so hard to deny. You were so reliable. You would definitely be the draft choice of a lot of teams. Every team could benefit from having your ability and skill set and willingness to just get up there and do it. So, yep, Isaiah, you get my 3rd prop for the week for sure.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it took a while for that pedestal to be found for Isaiah, but at the end of the day, you've had it in you since the beginning, and it's really fun to watch how much you have helped this Northwest team stay strong in these strange times. Now that the props are out of the way, Kopy, our next segment is actually one of my favorites because I love to be challenged, and so do so many of the students in our league. Can you tell us your Kopy's challenge for the week? Yes, we have been playing tons of games that we may or may not know because of Kopy this week or this year. Every single week, it's a different game. But a Kopy's challenge in this context means we need it to improve our whole league. Some aspect of our improv can improve as a whole league. What can we do for you, Kopy? How can you challenge us this week?
I hope this is clear, and I'm going to try and say it as clear as I can. But part of the reason I've been talking about the coaches today is because I want to humanize them a little bit for you in the sense that they have put in so much work, and as much as maybe a bad practice or a bad scene or something you don't understand happens, know that the work behind all of that is beyond measurable. Like you don't understand the amount of time and effort that goes into it. This is almost a 2-hour recap. That's it. Like, just you got to understand the pieces behind that. So one of the biggest challenges this year that, I mean, we've had this challenge before, but I mean, it is showing its head gigantically is scheduling. Scheduling is every coach's problem this year, more than it's ever been. And my challenge this week to all of you is to just acknowledge that. Just know how difficult your coaches are, or how difficult a time your coaches are having trying to fit to everyone's schedule, because it's not just everyone's normal schedule, it's everyone's new life because of COVID schedule. Everyone's life is flipped upside down, including your coaches, and how difficult that is. So we've got 2 weeks left of the season. We've got playoffs where something is gonna happen at some point in person. Scheduling could continue to be difficult. So my challenge to you is know that, and if there's any adjustment you can do to help your coach in a moment, like if you were going to play video games with your friends at 6 o'clock and you need to record at 5, can you move it to 6:30? Just please take that note in, because it's going to help your coaches a lot. It's going to help me a lot. It's going to help your team a lot. So just know, please know, your coaches work so stinking hard that I could probably just start crying about every one of them right now. So,
every single one.
Everyone.
You know, Kopy cries for this league every day, and we should thank him for the tears he has expelled at our expense. And, you know, speaking as one of the coaches in the league, I got to tell you, it's very true what he's saying. There's a lot of effort being put in by everybody in the camp, but especially the coaches, because many of them have jobs, and many of them, even in this time, seriously, and many of them are putting so much of their lives aside to ensure you kids are having the best experience you can have in this weird time. So give them some love, show them a little extra bump. And to my Del Sol kids who are hearing it, you guys take care of me already. So cheers to you guys.
There's only a couple of weeks left, guys. So
it's real.
Let's hone it in, and let's make these playoffs amazing.
Speaking of honing it in, this is a big scoop, and it's our Kopy question of the night. Kopy here is a professional wrestling guy. When he was a little kid, he used to watch all the Hulksters and the Ultimate Warriors like do their thing, and he has this amazing definition of WrestleMania, one that I would love for him to share. But the real question I want him to answer for me is, Kopy, do you think that The Rock is the greatest wrestler of all time? Do you think that?
I'm so mad.
It doesn't matter what you think!
So mad at you right now.
All right. In all seriousness, Kopy, kiddos, he really does watch a little bit of wrestling. I've had him over at my place to watch a few pay-per-views over the years. Kopy, talk about wrestling and improv. How similar are they?
I am probably more of a fan of what wrestling represents and the business model than I am probably a fan of like wrestling. In the 80s, and for those of you that don't know wrestling, just know I'm on your side a little bit. So in the 80s, there was this boom, like this I don't know what to describe, style boom that happened to wrestling that I fell into. So it was society, it was culture, it was something that happened in the 80s that it just became bigger than life, right?
It was Hulk Hogan. We'll just say that.
Right. Hulk Hogan was the driving force, and then just everything that went along with it, right?
Yeah.
So wrestling today has definitely evolved into this culture first storytelling way of entertainment that is more than just people in the ring beating each other up. That's not all what it is. So there was a point where people used to think that wrestling was real, that them getting in the ring was real. Now the wrestling is real. They are really out there putting their bodies on the line. Yeah. But at one point in the late 90s, the guy who runs wrestling came out very, what's the word? Very adversely or very dramatically, or like almost like he pulled the rug out from wrestling and said, hey, it isn't real. It's scripted. It's theater. It's performing. We're trying to entertain you. And that business model, I think, is amazing. It is so amazing. and the amount of wrestlers, the amount of storylines and stories, entertainment. These are people that are improvisers that are up there doing things that you are all doing in the Improv League every single day.
Every day.
There are wrestlers that honestly aren't good wrestlers but are good performers. There are amazing wrestlers that can't say a word to save their life.
Nope.
I mean, there's just the skill sets that you see in wrestling parallel to what this league is so much.
It's crazy.
It's mind blowing. So that's what I really appreciate about what wrestling is, and the development and what people get out of it and whatnot. So that's where my fan is. These days, honestly, I can't get enough of the women's wrestling. I think what wrestling has evolved into is amazing. What it used to be was crap. What it is now is amazing.
Right.
It's just another layer of entertainment. So yeah, it's WrestleMania is our championship day.
Exactly. Year after year, our Vincent Kennedy McMahon over here is putting together the best WrestleMania he can for you kids. And let's all hope with our best hearts, right, that we might just have a special WrestleMania moment this year. Anyway, folks, this has been the Jester Recap, the most epic rendition in our 2 years of doing them. If you enjoyed it, keep enjoying them, because we've got more critique next week, more games to break down. Week 7 is upon us. So much to look forward to for our last 2 weeks of the season, as you guys are really solidifying into some of the strongest parity, right? The parity in the league is there this year. There's a lot of really good common ground developing here. So go out there, guys, and give it your best shot for week 7. We will see you then on our Just a Recap. And remember, folks, every single one of you as a main eventer, go out there and speak your mind, share each other's, and have a great match or scene or whatever. Oh, I guess that's a great way to end it, isn't it, Kopy?
Yeah.
Scene. Thank you, Cassie. And bye, Jesters Court. We'll see you all next week on the Jester Recap. If you smell what the dub is cooking. Scene.